Hey everybody, Steve here, and welcome to day 21 of my journey into crypto. And today I'm really excited to share with you a bit about this project that I've been following for a while. And I took some steps to get a little bit closer to it. It's going to take a little while to fully execute on it, but I want to talk about it because this is a completely different type of application with crypto. It's one that's near and dear to my heart because I've been in this industry for over a decade now. And here's what we're going to talk about. This is crypto and the Internet of Things, otherwise known as IoT. What this is, there's a network called Helium, a crypto network called Helium. They have a currency called HNT. And what they do is they empower connectivity through a global network by use of a radio technology called LORA Wan. And don't worry too much about what the technology is, but what it helps to do is it's a network not unlike our phones, but different technology, different frequencies. And it allows people to connect sensor devices to gateways, which then transmit that data back to a computer somewhere or a server in the cloud. But if you can imagine having sensors just anywhere you can think of, this could be for water monitoring, air quality monitoring, soil monitoring. It could be used in a home, like a remote home, to detect if there's a water leak. All these sensors are ubiquitous, but they cost money to connect to a cellular network. It's been too costly ever to do that on a grand scale. You might connect a few sensors, but to pay a monthly data cost to a network provider like Verizon or AT&T or T-Mobile is prohibitively expensive when you start adding thousands and thousands of sensors out there. And LoRaWAN was always one of those solutions that was thought to be an enabler of that. But it's been difficult to deploy, difficult to get mass adoption. But now the reason why this application is so powerful and so interesting is because we're using cryptocurrency in the form of HNT to incentivize people like you and me to put up wireless base stations that connect with these sensors. We're basically like a gateway that connects to these sensors, and we anonymously pass on that data. We never see it, but we're connecting potentially thousands of sensors out there in the world. So we're acting as the network provider, and the people who have the sensors are able to utilize this network for a really inexpensive cost to them. And it's all based off of this currency called HNT on the Helium network. And that's why it's so powerful. And that's what I want to cover today. We'll get into some examples really quickly. And that's what I wanted to show. All right, so here's a pretty boring example of a wireless diagram. You see these everywhere, but really these are the sensor devices out in the world. What we're doing with the Helium network is we're acting as this gateway, and we connect with those devices and we send the data that they're collecting to some network server somewhere. And what I forgot to mention earlier is this technology, LoRaWAN, is this gateway here is able to have a pretty decent sized coverage measured in miles. So it's not like a Wi-Fi hotspot that you use in your home for internet. This is a gateway device that is able to use frequencies that cover pretty large ranges, and they can connect to a lot of devices at the end. And these devices are sending tiny amounts of data. So it's not like having a broadband internet connection where you can have lots of data go over it. It's small packets of data. Like I said, the sensors or things like that. And so when these devices collect all this information, they connect it through the gateways that we operate and manage. And we're incentivized to do that. All right, now that we've got the boring tech stuff out of the way, let's talk about actually how this is being applied. So Helium is promoting this as a people-powered network, all the things I talked about before, but here's where it gets really powerful. There are a bunch of what are, these are gateway devices, wireless gateway devices. They're called miners, of course. And if you want to get one of these, they're really difficult to obtain at the moment. This is December 2021. There's a long lead time. They're sold out everywhere, but you can get them on the secondary market. And they have a list of approved devices that can operate on the Helium network. So I will leave that aside. So here's the example I want to share. So there's a bunch of applications right now, like I talked about earlier: smart parking, water management, leak detection. If you think about if you live in an area where your water meter is already on a wireless connectivity device, somebody's paying for that plan, this can enable more water utility districts to have wireless connectivity at the water meter. There's endless applications. But here's what I really want to show. This is on the Helium Network. And if you go to the Helium Network and click on the Explore option right here, it will open up a map across the country. And while that's loading, I'll go back to the one I already had open. Portland, Oregon. And you can see every one of these little hex-shaped spots is a small little neighborhood where they have a number of different gateways already there. So this one has 11, this one has 3, this one has 1. And you can click on any of these and find out how much they are earning by the day, by the week, and every 30 days in the form of HNT. If we just pick one of these up here, you can see that they're earning 1.65 HNT for 30 days. That's really not that good. One HNT is just, let's average out to $30 per HNT right now. And they're doing just over 1.5. So they're doing $47 a month. That's what they're collecting. That's on the low end. And I have a feeling that's because they're in one of these spots where there's a lot of other people performing the same things. Now, if you scroll out and you go to some of these spots that are right on the edge of a metro area, they're not as congested there. And you can start looking through which one of these are making a little bit more. And there's not a really solid one here, but I did find one earlier that had quite a bit. Here we go. And I haven't figured out what makes the difference yet of why some people are making a lot versus some are not. But here's this area right here has one node in there. And you can see on a 24-hour cycle, they've earned this much. So it's $4 and just $4.65 in a 24-hour cycle. Over the course of 7 days, they've done $25. So that's $25 in a week. And over the course of 30 days, they're doing $135. So this is on, I would say, I haven't done an averaging of what everybody's making, but you can see like when they're on the edge of these clusters, or there's not 5 or 6 in one hex spot, they can do pretty well. And they're earning currency because they're performing on the network. So they're doing a couple of things. They're providing access to the network for remote sensors, and they're also doing the mining activities to keep the blockchain up to date. And there's a ton of information about that if you want to look into it. If you go to the Helium Network and you can look up docs, you can read all about it, how everything is computed, all the details about how you earn and what the rate is for earning. But the reason I wanted to bring this example out is because this is a real life activity. It's not trading NFTs and buying NFTs and trading and creating digital goods. This is a real life tangible thing that's happening right now. And you can see this network is growing, and all these major metro areas have tons of endpoint nodes performing on it. And all that you need to participate on this, if you're interested, you'd have to have one of these gateway devices, which are hard to get, and you need an internet connection and power. So you're leveraging your source of power in your internet connection, and these devices are performing on a network. And they don't use very much power, so it's one of the other benefits of it. One of the things I looked into is because I didn't want to wait for a device. There is a company called emirateio, and they have a whole idea here that they're doing air quality monitoring and environmental monitoring. And they are, for certain people, sending out a device to them. So they're underwriting the cost of a gateway and sending it out to people. And they're taking a cut of the cryptocurrency that you would earn. So you can go here and click here and start earning for yourself. I will leave a link in the notes as well. And if you qualify, they'll send you one. Now, I applied. I'm still waiting to get feedback of whether I'm going to be able to participate or not. I have a feeling that I may not meet the requirements because I don't live in a high population area, but they have their own model for how they're going to do it. So my hopes are not high. But this is one way where you can get a device for free, and they share a percentage. They take a percentage of the HNT currency that you mine, and they keep that, and then you keep the rest. So it's a really interesting model. If you're interested in Internet of Things, you're interested in earning cryptocurrency, this is a really good thing to look into. So try emirate.io. Again, I'll put the link in there and look at Helium. And you can go to helium.com and read all about it. It's a really powerful idea. And I think this is something that is really leveraging crypto for the right reasons. And I can't wait to see where it goes. All right, that's it for today. Talk to you soon.